Were there any moments that felt emotionally the same even after you guys were successful?
I remember this one thing turned it around for all of us. Christina went to Ralph's. She comes home with all these groceries and she's telling me, hey, while I was in line, I ran into so-and-so.
She was the person right behind me at checkout.
This is one of our peers, our friends. Now, again, nobody knows how bad we're struggling at this point. And I said, okay, I see the groceries here, so you clearly bought groceries. I said, did you use the food stamps? And she said, well, yeah, of course I did.
Back then, they gave you like 4 or 5 page printout of checks. So you had to stand in line and like everyone behind you hated you. The process took 10-15 minutes probably.
Yeah.
I was
poor person.
That you're,
Get on
yeah,
the
yes,
loudspeaker, poor person.
Now people know I'm not providing. I don't make any money. I can't feed my kids. So I didn't talk to her for about a week. We didn't talk. I was so upset that she would make me look bad, right? Again, my ego. About a week goes by and she says, you know, honey, why would I be upset about using food stamps to feed our kids? This isn't who we are and it's not where we're staying. It's just something that we're going through. I got it. In a very nice way, she was telling me, I believe in you. Get your ass to work and get us out of this as fast as you can.
You want me to express on it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's tight. I think what is it? For better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, right? I think that those vows that you hear in Hollywood, right, on the big screen, and then that's what they say. I think that's what that was in that video. Is that I understand that right now we're kind of in the shit, right, financially, and you got to understand that we have to take our egos out of the relationship and focus on prospering, right? On getting to a better place. And so that's what that was. And I think a lot of times, in our relationships, when we get into arguments, we think it's the end, or I'm not gonna say we, because I don't fucking think like that. But people think that, it's the end of the world because we can't get over this argument, right? Or maybe, financial problem is a real big, stress point in a marriage, right? That causes divorce is financial stuff. The inability to stay committed to a person, right? Or if cheating happens, right? There's these things that happen in our lives, right? As a couple, whether you're in the dating phase or in the marriage phase, 10 years, 30 years into a marriage. I think, that's the journey of life, and the journey of life together is that we're going to face these things. We got to do it together or we separate, and then so that was cool to see because that reminds me of just kind of an immigrant story, that you come to this new land, you got to learn all this shit and you don't know shit and you only have each other to depend on, right? And so I think it makes it easier, I guess, to depend on each other. But it also,
Yeah.
at the same time too, though, right? Is that like that's where the mentality is so different, is because once I'm able to do it myself, right, and I don't see that there's a need for you anymore, then it also at the same time makes it easier for me to leave you, So there, but how their language was, it was we're gonna see through this moment, right? You're embarrassed about this piece. That's a you problem. That's an ego problem. And then, for him to be able to check himself or have his wife check him, and then him having the skill to self-evaluate himself, right? To see what his wife just said to him, and it allowed him to grow. So, and then
Right.
I'm sure they're successful now, as they mentioned in that podcast. But I think that was a real beautiful video. I think most people need to start adopting that attitude.
I think it's hard to find a relationship like that. Even with a trustworthy woman that believe in you like that, it's hard to find that girl. Because some are easy to leave, especially when, let's say, at the moment, let's say the week of his ego just not talking to her, some women will leave. Oh man, you're too egotistic, and start fighting him. And with her, he was fortunate to have a wife that was so patient with him.
Yeah.
I mean, in a relationship or any marriage, patience is going to be key to building a relationship.
Oh shit.
And
Yo, what up? Who is this? Is this Daniel? Daniel, you a little bit too early, brother. So if you can hear me, I'm gonna boot you real quick.
is that Daniel?
I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, so let me ask you this. So was there a point where in your life that you felt that you kind of betrayed your family in a way
I betrayed
for
my
your
family.
own self-ego?
Shit, dude. I would say probably in my early 20s. If in terms of feeling that kind of way, right? Because I think
Yeah, like kind of just like, yeah,
'Cause-
like, oh man, you're embarrassing me. I don't want to talk to you. Like, why'd you do that? But then really it's just like at the moment and your ego or something was in the way, like your self center was in the way. Like
Well,
was there a
you know,
moment like that?
when you're young, you're dumb, right? I mean, so in my 20s, I just thought I was better than my family. I don't know why. They made more money than I did. But but and then to separate myself from them, right? To separate myself from the people who raised me, and then just hanging out with all these other dumbass motherfuckers, and just throwing all my time and attention. Not even really developing myself either. I think that's just me living recklessly. But that dynamic was, my family, the family dynamic back then was kind of, very tough for me. And then, so that's why, I did act in a stupid ass way. But I would say, in answering your question, I would say that time period, in my early 20s is when, I guess I betrayed my family.
What made you come back? Like, what was the realization? Is it because like some incident happened, or you met somebody?
I think a real big piece for me was my dad dying, and me becoming a father and a husband, and then being the head of the house, right? I think that really taught me just how much what it takes to be a father, right? To be the man of the house, to be the head of the house, right? And then after that piece, I gained a different perspective on just kind of the family dynamic and how stressful and how tough that is, and then my parents doing what they're doing, though at that time, right, in my young 20s, I had this inflated idea that they should be this gajillionaire or this super successful, respectable people, when even though that's the standard I put on them, but I didn't put that same standard on myself. So then, and in lacking perspective and world experience, I think that's why they say when you're young you're dumb, because you think like you know everything, but you know nothing. And then so that's when I kind of realized that piece.
Interesting. That's cool, man. Well, I don't think have I met that Peter?
What have you met? What?
Have I met that Peter?
Oh,
Yeah, the young, reckless. Peter?
Yeah. What the fuck are you talking about? Heck yeah,
So,
dude.
you're talking about that time period?
Yeah, dude.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh yeah, dude. I was not in a good headspace, man.
Okay. Interesting.
Y'all enabled me.
I was like, wow. Surround myself with people that don't give a shit. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I swear, if you're talking about that time, we were probably hanging out. Yeah. Oh shit. I was like, oh shit. He's probably just talking about me right now too.
Oh, that's so funny. Man. No, what it is because like right, like we're where at that time period we were very kind of now too, right? Is that we were very extrovert, right? We were networking hard. We were trying to do stuff with our life, right? We're trying to make a name for ourselves. And so when I say friends, right? When I say the people I was hanging out with, dude, I was hanging out with a lot more people than, you know, just our crew at that time, you know? So that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
I remember at that time I was hanging out with random like my coworkers, mainly coworkers to be honest. It's kind of just smoking all the time and drinking and trying to get laid, but it just never happens, dude. I swear to God. Every goal of the night was to get laid, but
Blue balls every night,
didn't
baby.
happen. But you know what? You know what I do miss though, like I mean, I don't want to do it now, like every weekend, like how we did before. Like just little hangouts, you know, little like parties. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But now it's just it's once in a while it'll be cool, but like every other weekend is a little too much.
Cool.
Yeah,
What's your take on that video, right? Or did you want to transition to mine?
I'll give a little 2-minute breakdown on how I took the video. So that video, for me, it is about ego, man. You gotta lower your ego down, and it's not about like, oh, that proves that you're like poor, right? Using food stamps. It doesn't say that you're poor and you're like low value, right? It's just at the moment, you know, when you're just in the moment and we're in the process of it. And like, it also tells me, man, how important a person that's willing to stick with you at your lowest points, how important that is.
Oh yeah.
And how important that person is to uplift you when you need it the most.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. If I ever find that girl, man, or that person,
in the Philippines, dude.
If I do in the Philippines, man, that'd be great. If I can find 3 at least, that'd be cool.
You know, I think to kind of add to what you said, man, I think you know, like in my relationship with my wife now, you know, I think we got married in 25ish, right? At 25,
Yeah.
26, and I say that's the biggest thing is just being there for each other to grow, right? You know, me teaching her stuff, she taught me a lot of stuff about myself, and then you know, it was a very humbling experience, and it's just one of those things where, like, you know, if 2 people can commit to go through a lot of bullshit together, and you come out at the end, then you know you'll see yourself and you'll see your spouse, you know, grow, and that's just, you know, such a beautiful experience, you know, that I hope more people get to experience, because like not just
That's
my
true,
experience, right? Because like in the beginning, it was just a whole bunch of maturing on my end, and then, you know, my wife learning about, you know, how the world works and how to be ambitious in life, and so that's what that was, right? And then so now we've just kind of fused, and then now we're a lot better now, and we're still working, you know, the kinks here and there, but that's the beauty of committing to this long-term relationship, is that we're building a life together. And now that we have kids, right, our next journey is how to be a parent, you know, and so we're learning that piece together, and it's been a beautiful process.
That's you're right, man. Because without tragedy, there is no growth, and most people that just kind of touch on tragedy, it's like they get too stressed and oh man, I'd rather go and find somebody else and just have them make me happy, you know, like it's a quick getaway. And that's the problem nowadays with these relationships, because like it's easier to find something new than work on what you already have. Sometimes it can go both ways too. Sometimes if it's too toxic and you know it's too toxic, maybe you should leave too, you know.
Go to therapy first, you know.
I think therapy is definitely the last option. If it really doesn't work, but both will have have to try. They're willing to try. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because if one is only trying, the other one's not willing to try, man, you lost. You're losing the battle, bro. Because both of them have to try, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.